So right now we're bringing in Assistant Professor of Political Science at SCSU, Jonathan Wharton. And Wharton, you're the former chairman of the New Haven Republican Party. Now, you were in our newsroom when we all learned and we all heard Bob Stefanowski conceding on WPLR this morning. What was your initial reaction?
Well, considering that it's New Haven, and we know obviously it's a significant portion of Democrats, not just in the city, but for the state. And so we still didn't know the results because there was only 20% that obviously came in. So considering the numbers, it was going to be very difficult to begin with, just in New Haven alone.
And actually, hold on for a second. Sure. We actually have Bob Stefanowski, I'm told, live with us right now. Mr. Stefanowski, are you there with us? Do we have him?
This is a press conference. We're going to go live to it right now.
Do we have this? Sorry, one second.
First, just tell us, how are you feeling right now?
We're feeling good. We're obviously disappointed, but it was a close election. You know, we wish Ned the best. We got to turn this state around. We'll do whatever we can to help. I do think we sent a good message about it's time to get taxes down and get this economy moving. Hopefully that influenced the discussion. Obviously disappointing, but you know, we'll do what we can to help Ned. I spoke to him about a half hour ago, and very good discussion.
What was the discussion like between you guys?
It was great. You know, obviously it was a tough campaign, but I've been saying it for a few weeks now. We need to have bipartisan to support to fix this state. Anything I can do or the Republican Party can do to help and get it moving. That's what's really the important thing. It's not about an election. It's about getting this economy moving and getting the people of Connecticut moving again.
You were asking about offering help, or you were mentioning that on Chance and AJ this morning. Is there anything in particular you would like to, you know, assert yourself in, or really, you know, focus on? Or?
No, that's totally up to Ned. I'm available if he needs me. He's got his own agenda that he wants to go through, so I'll make myself available.
What were the emotions like last night?
Up and down, as you might expect. It was a really close race. We got more votes than any Republican in the history of the state of Connecticut, but the Democrats did a great job of getting the vote out. And I think it's great that we had a big turnout. I think it's reflective of that people really want change in this state, and I'm hoping that the next administration can do it.
Last night we talked a lot.
What's that?
What's after this for you?
I'm going to sleep for about 4 days. I got a concert. My daughter's doing a cappella at her college this Friday, and then, you know, we'll debrief after that.
How about politics as far as that?
I got to debrief for a while. You know, we learned a lot in the last year. It's a terrific life experience. Obviously, we were hoping the outcome would be a little bit different, but it was great to get the people of Connecticut see the diversity of the state. There are a ton of good people out there that are hurting right now, and we got to get things moving, and hopefully this new administration will do that.
Now that you have officially conceded, are you guys planning on moving forward with the injunction at all?
No, we'll let that go. I don't think it was, given where the results came out, plus 10,000, it's not enough to really influence anything, so we'll let that go. Ned's won this thing fair and square, so we'll move forward.
So whether or not, you know, you decide to move forward, running for governor or anything else like this again, I know we need some sleep. You know, I also heard you mention just about what it was like to go through this process, having so many people try and vote at the last minute. You know, which really changes the outcome. So again, whether or not you're going to go through this again, what do you have to say to voters or people that should register a little bit more beforehand?
I think it should be more organized. I don't think it's helpful that you get lines out the door at 7:59. Somehow we need to facilitate it so that people aren't scrambling to get their vote in. Everybody who wants to vote should get the chance to vote. It just doesn't seem like it's all that organized right now, and you know, Ned and his team should think about how to streamline that.
How's your camp deal with it when you were hearing about busloads of people coming in last second to get registered?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it didn't influence the outcome. Again, I think we should, you know, figure out what's right and what's not right. Luckily, fortunately for everybody involved, it didn't influence the ultimate outcome.
And for things to get wet, I thought that was surprising. Did you think that was surprising?
I'm surprised too, because you know, we had a folder around ours, and you know, unless you're like plastering it to your shirt, but you know, it is what it is, and in a way, it's good the margin was big enough so that we don't have to worry about it.
Anything you want to say to those that have supported you?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be prouder of the effort my family put in, the people across the state, the Republican Party, the Independent Party, the Democrats that voted for me. We had over 500,000 votes. That's quite an honor. I'm humbled by that, and you know, we're going to do what we can going forward to help the state.
What do you think that says about the future of the state?
I'm hoping they do the right thing. Again, I've run on a platform of lower taxes and get the economy moving. I hope they've listened. I hope the legislators listen to the people, because I've talked to a ton of people out there that want a fundamental change in economic policy. We're losing 80 people a day from the state, and we really need to do something to stop it. So anything I can do to help Ned or anybody else with that, I'd be happy to do it.
Even though you've conceded, are you still interested to find out, what happened from New Haven, from Hartford?
It'd be interesting to see, but it's I don't know that it's over. I don't know. Have they reported their results yet? I don't even know if New Haven's in. But there was enough of a gap. I felt it was the right thing to do to call Ned and concede so he can get on with his transition.
And your family's doing okay so far?
They're great. They're great. They're my rock.
We're proud of them.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling this morning?
It was a long night.
Yeah.
But
It's been great for them. It's been a life experience. They've gotten exposed to democracy at work, and it's been great. It's been a great experience. So thank you guys. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Regardless of who you support, certainly seems like Bob Stefanowski said the right thing. A relative newcomer to politics. He got over 640,000 voters in Connecticut to pick him as their prospective next governor. We bring back now Jonathan Wharton from Southern Connecticut State University, former head of the Republican Party in New Haven. What did you think about what you saw there?
I think it was conciliatory, and certainly it's Bob Stefanowski's style. He's very gracious, has that sense of humility, and he did the right thing, I think, in many ways. And doing it now, doing it early.
Yeah.
And we just heard that he's going to let the injunction go. How do you feel about that?
I still would like to know the final results, personally, just as a political scientist.
Yes.
I would like to still know those numbers and the outcome, and especially that same day of registration.
Talk to me about the campaign that he ran as a newcomer. How do you think he did?
It's very difficult, because for him, obviously, he started out early. He got the ads out, he got the name recognition. He certainly had the motto out there, so it was well known. But then he was obviously going up against internally within the party 4 other candidates. And remember, he was a petitioning candidate. So it's tough. It's not easy in terms of what he tried to do, especially when he did the self-financing part just for the primary.
Yeah.
As we've been seeing for quite a while, and as we're seeing from the numbers, a very, very close race. A lot of people voted for him. What do you think resonated the most with voters out there?
Well, it's that big debate that obviously everybody in the media has been saying, right, about the Malloy dynamic versus the Trump.
Yeah.
And so I think some of that did come out. But at the end of the day, look, we have a lot of serious issues here in Connecticut to be faced with, and that, I think, is the primary concern, especially as it relates to the budget and the future for the economy here.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Boy, it did seem like for a while this wasn't Ned Lamont versus Stefanowski. It was Daniel Malloy versus Donald Trump. Who does Connecticut hate more? On both sides, was that the right way to do it, or is speaking to specific issues that would affect voters, would have that been more effective on either side? Because again, they both played into that.
At the end of the day, you just want to bring people out to vote.
Yeah.
So you can use either side. Whatever can resonate among voters, that's what matters. So either side used it to their advantage. But as Bob said, and it's a good point, listen, he got a lot of voters compared to Tom Foley years ago.
Yeah.
That says a lot. I think it speaks volumes.
And talk a little bit about what Stefanowski said about partisanship, bringing the two parties together. He's saying he's willing to work with Lamont.
Yes, exactly. That's a start. And I'd like to also see if that's a real possibility, even with the General Assembly now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there?
Yeah.
Because it can't just be, among former candidate, and one who's obviously now governor.
And I was going to ask, it seems like the state Democrats didn't need necessarily a big push to get the trifecta, to get the governorship, to get the state house under control, and just the entire legislature. But I think they've got it now. So how is that going to affect the need for bipartisanship going forward?
Well, look, the Democrats now obviously have it. So we just have to see what the Republicans will try to come up with next and what the strategy will be.
I was wondering if you could share with us a little bit more about what it was like, looking back through everything, what it was like working side by side with Bob.
Well, it was interesting because I had a chance to see both sides up front, even with Ned Lamont's campaign, too. So I was able to kind of get on the inside for both. But at least internally within Bob, he was a quick learner. He wanted to know all the angles. He wanted to have a further understanding about things. And certainly he had an interest in consulting, a number of consultants on staff as well. And, there were a lot of dynamics we had to consider. I mean, think about all the internal dynamics of even the political party to work with, too. So there were a lot of angles that everybody had to learn as well. It's not easy.
I know sometimes all that, the inside baseball, that's a big
Exactly.
part of how things get done and how the sausage gets made, is lost to a lot of us.
Completely.
How do you think Ned Lamont is going to handle that as governor?
Well, you know, everybody's saying, well, you know, he was a former, you know, politician anyway, so he's got some inside, you know, understanding of things. But remember, I think a lot of people forget, he doesn't understand also the General Assembly. So we're up against this dynamic of what does that mean? Because he's not a former legislator. He's not that familiar with the inside. So I don't think it's going to be a slam dunk for him either. And I'm not just saying for the Republicans, I'm saying for the Democrats too.
Yeah. There's something to be said for institutional knowledge of how legislation has to be crafted.
Well, look what's going on in New Jersey. Phil Murphy obviously has issues within his own party in this caucus there in the state legislature. How might that be different than somebody like Ned Lamont? We don't know.
Very interesting.
Jonathan Wharton, thank you so much for being with us.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your insight.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the invite.
Thanks
a lot.